Well, hello again and welcome to my channel. I'm Fraser from Metalworking in France. I operate a small light engineering business here in southwest France. I've got a project on this time round. I'm going to build a couple of gates, a pair of gates with spearheads on the top, etc, etc. Reasonably ornamental but not overkill. The gentleman wants it to be ornate but not too elaborate. So I've got to build these pair of gates and a section of fencing about 2.5 meters long to go on beside the gates. So the whole thing's got to match. So follow me in the next few frames and see how I go about making this piece. So here we have the sections of steel to build this gate. These two with this mitered edge. I'm going to put I have to weld blanks on top of there to finish them off, so it's nice, smooth, looks like a solid piece of steel in. Those bits will be the uprights on the hinge side of the gate. On the inside there will be a lock on one side and a lock plate on the other gate. So these are the pieces that will be in there. The lock will go in between this piece and another one here, which will form basically the height of the gate. As you can see, these bits will then become the same length as, or the same height as the gate. These other ones are the infill pieces, 4 here for the bottom rail and the central rail, well not central but it's somewhere near the middle, and then the slightly thinner ones will be the top rail where the spearheads and railings will stick through. So let's get on and try and put this lot together. I've got a bit of grinding to do and a bit of setting up, so bear with me while I'll try and work my way through this so you can see what's going on. So the first thing I need to do is weld on these end caps. I've just positioned them roughly so that they're in the right position. I've already tacked the other side just to hold them in. I've just got to hold them there and then I'll weld them properly later on. Just get them tacked in, pull the joints in a little bit, because obviously when you weld something like this it tends to move a little bit with the heat on one side. So I've got to hold them in fairly tight with my fingers, finger and thumb anyway, just so that I can make sure that the gaps are closed up a little bit and they're fairly square on top of each other, or on top of the posts themselves I should say. I should make this clear, but they're going on okay, they're not too bad really. Here you can see I'm drilling the holes for the spindles to go through. I'm obviously drilling the middle or the centre bar and the top bar. I'm now drilling the top and bottom rail for the fence. I've welded these together, just a tack weld on each side, a couple of tack welds to hold these two bars together. Basically just so that to make sure the holes are all lined up in exactly the right place, and so everything will remain nice and parallel. So I've pre-drilled these with a pilot drill first. Now I'm going through with a 16.5mm drill. Here you can see I'm welding in the lock plate, so I'll just tack this in to start off with. It's in between the two shorter bars to make the vertical part of the gate. Then I'll finish welding those on when they're ready. Now I'm just going to assemble up the main part of the gate itself. I've already tacked some of these bits together, so I've put a clamp on to hold it all in one place, so it should be okay. They're all measured off in the right place, so I'll just weld these bars in place. This is the middle bar, and or intermediate bar, and then there's the top bar where these spindles will go right through, and with the spearheads on top. So that's looking quite nice actually. So quite a bit of welding to do here, so you'll have to bear with me a little bit. It probably gets a little bit boring watching all this welding going on, but I've got to go all the way around the gate, doing all the joints. I've tacked most of it together, so I've just got to finish welding all the way around, which does take quite a lot of time. And as I say, the clamps will just hold it in place and hold everything flat so that it doesn't move while I'm welding it, putting the heat on it. Because obviously when you heat things, as I said earlier, if you heat something on one side and not on the other, it tends to move slightly. It's not that critical with a gate, obviously, because it's, the gate will open and close in the same way. It's nice to get things lined up and keep them nice and true and nice and straight. So it's a bit time consuming. It's a bit awkward working right across the bench and trying not to get in the way of the camera too much, obviously. But I'm getting there, and it's looking quite nice actually. It's all seems to be going together quite well. We're getting there, and as I say, it's a bit of a slow job, but it takes time. These things you have to be patient with them, otherwise it's quite easy to get things wrong. It's the old adage as well, isn't it? Measure twice and cut once. So it's the same thing when you're putting something together. Check and double check to make sure things are lined up correctly, and then you can make sure it's going to be right at the end. Right, I'm just going to braze these spearheads onto the spindles and put some flux around the spigot on the spearhead. Just warming it up as I go along. It melts the flux, so it'll get a nice even flow all the way around. And then I'll just I'll tap that and make sure there's no iron filings inside. Not that they'll matter anyway. And then this can just slip on over the top. I'll warm it up a little bit so that it goes on a bit easier. That should just slide down onto there, he says with great confidence. I promise you it will go down. I'll just persuade it a little bit with a hammer. So yeah, that's going down okay. There you go, right down at the bottom on the shoulder. I'll just keep heating this until the spearhead is nice and red. Obviously the tube will melt or will get red much quicker than the spearhead because of the density of the spearhead, and the tube is obviously a lot thinner. I'll just warm this up now until it gets red. So keep the flame on this, keep it warm, and then I'll just keep the flame going round this, just to keep it nice and warm, keep it hot. And then I've only just need to tap or touch on the brazing rod. That'll get it the brazing to flow round. As long as I keep the heat fairly evenly all the way round, the brass should flow round and make a nice secure joint. So that's looking quite nice actually, nice smooth joint. And then I'll just dunk these in some water, take it out of the vise, put it in some water, so that will now just take the flux off a little bit. So now I'm welding in the bottom panel. It's just onto little metal tags so that it can hold the panel in place. And I'll turn it over and weld the other side. Next procedure is, as you can see, I'm just welding in the spindles. The collars I've got halfway up the spindles, they've got little grub screws in them, so they're not in final position at the moment. So I'll just weld all these spindles in at the bottom and that will be fine. So here you can see I'm putting on some paint, spraying these gates and railings. You can see the railings in the background. I'll put a good quality undercoat on first, and then I will be putting on at least 2 coats on each side, possibly 3 coats, depends how the coverage is, of a good quality silk finish paint or satin finish. So yeah, they're looking quite nice actually. Well, here we have the finished item, barrier fence, as you can see, with spearheads on the top. We'll just take that away, and a pair of gates here which operate quite nicely with a lock on them and a drop bolt. So once again, everything looking quite nice actually. I'll just go back a little bit so we can see a bit more. As you can see, my van in behind it. So there you are, quite a nice little job in the end. As you can see, the wall needs a little bit of attention, but the customer's going to see to that himself. The wall and the piers, he's going to scrape off all the old paint and repaint it with nice fresh paint. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video, and in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe and to like as much as possible. It all helps me. So in the meantime, until the next time, next video, I'll bid you farewell. Goodbye.